All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode 58 of the Spittin Hoops podcast. We're back once again, not weekly right now, but we'll be back weekly starting now, hopefully, with the NBA season loading up.
Are we at 58?
That's kind of crazy. I'm pretty
Are we
sure.
at 50, are we at 58 or 59? Um, Max,
58.
59.
Damn, bad host, bad host. Today we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff. We're gonna be talking about a lot of teams, a variety of them, and we're gonna be going through win-loss expectations based off the Vegas odds. We're gonna get into all that later. First, I did want to start this podcast off with a massive thank you to everyone who's been watching the pod, everyone who's been subscribing. This last 2 weeks to a month has been by far our best performing weeks, months, etc. And we really appreciate the love. We also appreciate everyone responding in the comments with, criticism, compliments, etc. Keep commenting. Let us know what you think. We're always here to improve, and keep hitting the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Seriously. Anthony, anything on that you want to hit on?
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you listening to this. Max and I have been talking about basketball for quite some time, and hopefully what you guys are hearing from us is just our passion, our interest for the game. I don't necessarily know if I'm always coming with the most advanced statistics all the time, right? And like I know Max and I oftentimes we just riff it. And this is something we love to talk about, different ideas, different concepts that come up. It's truly has been one of the it's more than just the game of basketball. I feel like a lot of times we talk about psychology on here, we talk about business, we talk about a lot of different aspects more than obviously just the X and O's, but the personality. And it's been a great adventure over the last year and a half, and super excited to see where it's going to go. So thank you guys for listening, and keep arguing with us, keep liking our stuff, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just engage.
Yeah, just in case, let us know. Like if you don't like it, let us know. If you like it, let us know. Like we're not tripping. Like
Yeah,
we're just here. To be honest, we turn on the camera, we talk a little bit about what we're gonna talk about, and we just go, So we're here to entertain y'all, and hopefully you guys remain entertained. It seems like you guys have been over the last few weeks. So we really appreciate that. Seriously.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah. With that, we'll get into some NBA talk now that we're done simping a little bit over the viewers. There's a lot to get to. A lot of action to get to. A lot of preseason action to get to. Obviously, my Warriors are 5-0. Had to slide that in there. Stop the count. Stop the count. It's election season. With that, Anthony, do you want to take us away? I think we have general concepts, we have general ideas we're gonna hit on in this podcast, but I think we'll touch on those as we get through these.
Sure. Yeah. I wanted to talk about this concept of what we were prepping a little bit about we were talking about, does it make more sense to do this in rankings in terms of a wins count or how they're going to finish in the playoffs? And it feels like recently the way that the NBA world views how good a team has been is based off of the number of wins it has, or not number of wins it has in the regular season, but its playoff performance, which makes total sense, right? The deeper you go in the playoffs, by default, the more successful you were. That being said, it's so interesting, and it feels like the myth of the number one seed had this prestige and aura to it that over the last few years it hasn't really had. And I'm thinking about from the specifically the 2010s, a lot of the teams in the Eastern Conference, the Celtics, the Raptors, the Bulls in the early 2010s, who were still good, but sort of paper tigers compared to what LeBron had coming. So it didn't really matter what that seeding was. And now it kind of feels like, those number one seeds don't as often kind of push through like we saw with the Celtics last year, with the Warriors many times, with the Heat back in the day. So,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I think you're right. It's weird because, we bring this up just to kind of establish this idea, wins and losses aren't everything, right? To be fair, when the Nuggets won the chip in 22-23, they were the one seed, respect like that. This Celtics were too. Like this is
yeah,
something that does happen. But for context, I mean, most people won't remember that in 21-22, the Suns were the first seed of the
right.
West, for example. Or better example in my eyes is 2021 in the West, the Jazz, a team with Bogdanovich, Dimic, and Gobert, they're the 1 seed. And so we kind of have this idea a little bit in our heads, and I think maybe we're stuck on this as podcast hosts, but
Mhm.
of this the fake number 1 seed, the masquerading number 1 seed. Um, and I think there's a chance, Anthony, you could riff off me here, but I think there's a chance here that like this might change. Now teams are almost too good where if you want to win 50 games, you're gonna have to beat a lot of really good teams, right? And
Mhm.
your team has to be built in a really certain way. Even the Thunder last year, as much as the Thunder, they were not the title favorites or anything, they were not a plastic 1 seed last year, to be fair. And
Yeah.
so I think there is a little bit of like, with the Raptors, when the Raptors were winning the East every year, 1st seed, and LeBron would smack them in round 2 every year,
Mhm.
that felt like a lot more of a plastic 1 seed than what we're seeing now. So that may change, but that's one of the struggles we had when coming up with an order as to how to pick these teams.
Dude, looking at it now, also in the 2010s in the Eastern Conference, LeBron had the 1 seed in 2013, 2016. That's it.
13, 14
Um,
or 12, 13.
12, 13. Every other year he was the 2 or lower.
So if he's the 1 seed, he wins the chip because he was the 1 seed in the bubble year.
He was the 1 seed in the bubble year. So he was the 1 seed 3 out of his 4 rings.
That's actually a
Huh.
great stat, by the way. It's like if you're a LeBron team is performing well in the regular season, like you're probably gonna be nice in the playoffs.
You're probably going to be pretty nice in the playoffs. Huh.
That's actually kind of nice. That's kind of a sweet tidbit.
Yeah, that's fun. Damn, those Jazz teams, the number 1 seed. That's right. Wait, back-to-back years?
I don't believe so. Lakers, and then
On
Jazz,
the
and then Suns.
Jazz.
Lakers, Jazz, Suns won the West regular season, like 19,
Right,
20, 21. And then
right.
Nuggets 22. I don't remember one in 23.
The number 1 seed?
Thunder, yeah, Thunder.
The,
So, yeah.
the Thunder, yeah.
So that's kind
Damn,
of where do you
there
wanna
we
where
go.
do you wanna start off at then?
All right, let's do the Atlantic.
All right.
And with the Atlantic, so we're using Vegas odds. Uh, and the Celtics start with 58.5 wins over under. Max, what are you thinking about these odds? 64 wins last year, if I'm not mistaken. Hmm.
I I think this is pretty fair. This is a pretty fair line because this is the thing. I'm also gonna rank the line itself. Like I'm gonna be like,
Right.
is this fair or not? I
Yeah.
think it's a very fair line because if the Celtics try like if the Celtics go 90% compared to the 100% they're going, yeah,
Right.
maybe they'll win 57 games instead of 64. I can't really bet on that. I'm gonna take the over. I think the Celtics are pretty aggressively the best team in the East. We haven't really done a team preview of them yet. Um, But I think they're the best team in the NBA. Someone else has got to prove it to me, whether that's regular season or playoffs. And I'm good taking the over. I'm good taking the over on the Celtics, especially in this East.
I'm with you. I would say probably over, leaning over. 64 wins is a lot, and there have been a lot of teams with drop off, even championship contending teams. Thinking specifically, the Warriors had their 59 win season. And was that 2018-19 where they were the not the 1 seed? And whatever, like, yeah, they lost, but they, they were the best team in the league. Um, yeah, I'd say over because you have another year of continuity. Kristaps getting hurt, so maybe that kind of slows the reins. I really like the Celtics bench right now too. I think they've gotten really deep. So it feels like that's too far of a drop off.
I fully agree. Also, the Porzingis injury, it would worry me more if, like, just like you're saying, it wouldn't worry me more if there was if there was a smaller talent gap. Like in a playoff series, if you remove Porzingis, I still probably pick the Celtics in most of the series they're in, right? So regular season wise, how many wins is Porzingis worth? He's worth a few for sure. But what's the regular season gap of 3 months from Porzingis to Xavier Tillman? You know, is it
Right.
that big? Is it that big? Like regular season wise, if we're playing 3 months
Yeah.
worth and you're on the Celtics,
With some bad teams in the Eastern Conference.
with some bad teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my thing there. This Celtics team is so good, bro. This Celtics team is. different. So yeah, and if any, the bench is just older. The bench is older and better. So I really have no worries. 58 wins. You guys were at 57 2 years ago, and you're getting knocked out by the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like this is a lot better team than what it was 2 years ago, and it's a one more win.
Mhm.
And the East is not much better. It might be worse.
Damn. Yeah, I feel that. Slight plug, Peyton Pritchard. He's not a favorite for sixth man of the year.
Hmm.
Keep an eye on him. That's a take I have right there. He's been balling.
Don't
So
don't hate that, by the way. We kind of threw a shout out to I kind of undersold Drew in our fantasy show because I was like, I'm kind of worried about how much they use him in the regular season. And if you're doubling down on that idea, Pritchard as a
mm,
six man of the year candidate is not a bad take, especially given six man is a little weird this year.
right. Huh, yeah,
You're a Malik Monk injury away from anyone winning that.
I think that's right.
Or Naz, but I think Naz might end up starting a little bit more than we expect. But
Mm,
now we're delving into the six man stuff.
yeah,
But
but I'm with you. Anything else on the Celts?
no, man, I think this I'm selling too early, or I'm cutting the chase too early. This is the best team in the league, so I'm at 58 wins. I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I like that. Um, all right. Next up, Atlantic Brooklyn Nets. 21 and a half wins. Yikes.
That is a damning number. 21 and a half wins though. I have the over somehow. Um, the Wizards won 15 games last year. For context, the Nets themselves won 32 games last year. Are the Nets that much worse this year? Like they lost
Mm,
McCall Bridges, right? Does McCall Bridges 10, 11 games worth? And they're also not going to be trying this year a little bit. Not that they were trying last year, but 11 games. Am I wilding about that? Are they gonna tank for Cooper Flag though? Like that's the other take is
mm,
are you tanking for Cooper Flag? So that's
right.
the bet here. I kind of think with 21 wins, you're still a bottom three team. So that's kind of my guess here. Do the Nets care about being the third worst team versus the worst team? I don't know, but
I mean, I guess they wouldn't because the odds for the number one pick are the same.
yeah. Um,
So,
21 is
yeah.
only two teams under 21 last year.
Uh, in spite, I'm this will be our first disagreement.
Fair enough.
Dennis Schroeder, Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Nick Claxton. And maybe the shell of Ben Simmons.
Oh, we're not counting. Yeah, we're not counting.
Um, Killian Hayes, Bojan Bogdanovic. I'm sorry, he was great in Utah. Day'Ron Sharp. Yeah, Zaire Williams. I don't know. I unfortunately that's my analysis.
Like a team of players who got cut elsewhere.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, yeah.
Not even like it is. And Dorian Finney-Smith's probably gone by the deadline. If anyone offers them a first round pick, they take it. So I hear you.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that Cam Thomas and Claxton and Cam Johnson, like that combo of the
Sure.
three, gets them
Can
over
win
21
you.
wins.
Right.
Like if Cam Thomas shoots the ball 40 times a game for the whole season, and then in 20 of those games shoots 50%, like
I drafted it in one of my fantasy leagues with that hope in mind.
I kept him in the fantasy league we were talking about in the other league.
Oh,
Um,
no way?
yeah, in our
Oh,
league
for five?
for seven, yeah,
For
six.
seven? All right.
Hey, He's
Um,
he's gonna get a lot of run. But yeah,
he
I'm
is.
gonna take the over. I think there's a worse team in the NBA.
Mm.
I'm alluding to this a little too early, but I think there is a worse team.
I'll take the under, and I agree with you.
Okay,
I think the bottom of these is bad.
it's bad.
It's bad,
The only
unfortunately.
three worst debatable teams in the league are all these.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, maybe Portland, but probably
maybe
yeah.
Portland, maybe.
Um,
Yeah, that's the only. That's
okay. Better team, New York Knicks. The New York Knicks have an over-under win total of 52 and a half. How are we feeling about the New York Knicks win over-under?
It's a good one. I'm also now trying to remember because we had a podcast pre-trade and then we had a podcast post-trade. So
Hmm.
I'm a little bit trying to rack my brain about what I guessed at the time. Not sure if I'm gonna remember that. 52 and a half feels steep for a team that's relatively injury prone. They're good. They're not deep. They're a Brunson injury away from being 43 and 39. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna take the under. I don't know. I'm gonna take the under, but I still think they're this probably the second seed in the East. Like I think it's a big gap. They're gonna win 50 games. They'll still be the second seed, and there'll be just a concentration of 49 to 50 win teams basically in the East.
Hmm. Yeah, because you they got a lot better this offseason.
They 100%, 100%. They
This
got a
is
lot better.
tough.
And the East is so bad. And they because yeah, I mean in conference last year they're 32 and 20, and there's no chance there's no chance they don't do better than that. So
They won
if they get to
50.
35 wins in conference, we're now like mathematically it's kind of tough to not win 50 games.
Yeah, I'll tepidly go over.
Okay. Damn, two
Um,
disagreements to start off.
yeah, just I honestly I think because of your point about how bad the East is,
It's
and
fair.
this feels like again we go back to certain teams show off how good they become by winning tons of games. Other teams can show off how good they are by winning in the playoffs. If you're Philly, we heard about Embiid with back to backs, Paul George,
All right.
what's his injury? Yeah. So they're going to win fewer games, but a lot of people have them as a third best team. So, in my mind, or they don't need to. I think the Knicks are going to come out saying, "Now we're legit and watch this."
I think that's fair. I'm just
Yeah,
I'm just a little bit the combo of having OG Brunson and Cat on your team. Actually, Cat's relatively durable, but that's just I'm a little nervous about that. That's
yeah. No, I hear
um,
that
but I think they're a 50-win team. I think they're probably 50-51.
for
So
sure.
honestly, going over is probably the right choice, but I'm just gonna go under
Sure.
um to be safe
Um,
in my eyes.
well, then next up, we have actually the same win total. The Philadelphia 76ers have a win total according to Vegas odds of 52 and a half. What are we feeling?
This is a deeper team than the Knicks. So, I this is insane. I don't they're not gonna do better than the Knicks in the regular season, but you could talk me into it. Even though they have Joel Embiid and Paul George, I'm still taking the under though.
Yes, I'm back with you. 47 last year. Dang, only 47. Actually, that's more than I thought.
That's with only 45 games of Joel, to be fair. Even if Joel doesn't play back to backs, he plays 55 games, might be better. Might be a 51 team.
Might be a 50 win team. Yeah,
But are they at 52 and a half? Is that that's the line, right?
they are. Yeah, 52 and a half. Are they 3 wins more better than that? Are they 6 wins more better than last year? Ooh,
I don't think so, personally. I think they're better than playoff wise, sure. They're 7 regular seasons worth wins worth better as a playoff team. But like I don't think that might be reflected as a regular season statistic. I don't know.
yeah. No, that's where the mythos of the number one seed
Yeah.
has its issues.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
think they're good. Jared McCain, by the way, is great. I also love this stuff with Caleb Martin's doing a lot of like I don't know. Him and Batum are a bad equivalency, but
yeah,
they amuse me in a similar way in terms of the way they play. Like they're not just spot up wings. They both do a little bit more than that. You know what I'm saying? So I do like that.
yeah. I mean, bro, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Kelly Ray
they're top
Jr., Eric
guys.
Gordon. Yeah, felt that hard. Just because you win a chip doesn't mean the scars go away. Learning that.
Yeah, night night.
Yeah. Yeah, stop
My
it.
bad, bro. My bad.
Yeah. Did that to your whole country, my boy.
That's no. That's
uh, uh, nah, but for real. Okay, so we're both on under.
yeah. We're both on under.
All right, I like that. Let's see. Last but not least, in the East is the Toronto Raptors, who finish with a 30.5 win total. Max, what are we feeling?
What's their total?
30.5. Whoa, I think
Oh,
we agree. I think we heavily agree.
I got.
Wow.
I'm taking the over. You taking the over?
Oh, over for sure. 35 wins, and that's easy. I might put money on that. That's my first money one.
Wow, I misread that. I read it as
Okay.
40 and a half when I was looking.
Oh, yeah. And that feels like more of a conversation than 30.5 to me, in a way.
I'm saying the over. They're too
Yeah,
talented to not be like. Don't get me wrong. There's a chance they tank, but
yeah.
like they have their own first. The
Chance.
Raptors have never been a tanking team. They tried to tank last year, it didn't work. I don't think they're going to turn to it again this year.
Yeah,
Um, Barnes just got a big extension. Quickly just got a big extension. RJ Barrett just got a big
yeah.
extension. Are you gonna not play them?
Right. Yeah. Um, Grady Dick is going to take a step.
He's gonna
Bruce
start
Brown is
this year,
still there.
probably.
Yeah. That's what they're saying on this depth chart right now.
Mhm.
Jakob Poeltl and Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk is very good.
I mean, it's the first. They owe a first down the line for him. So
Yeah, bro, they got Chris Boucher as the third string. And yeah, he's not amazing, but
what happened
yeah,
there? Yeah.
I know.
But no, I mean, the Raptors model is never to be worse than a 30-win team. I would love to, I don't have it off the top of my head. I'm not looking though. When's the last time they've been that bad? Even when they got Scotty Barnes, they were a 27-win team, right?
Wait, 25 win last year.
Oh, they were 25s last year. Damn.
Oh, that's fine. I still think
Oh,
they
but
take a
no, but
step.
sorry, I'm not counting last
They
year.
tanked.
They had to tank to try to get their pick, and they didn't get it. So,
Yes,
which is hilarious.
yes. Yeah, man, like OG was sort of like, whatever. And then they traded. I feel like
Siakam though, losing Siakam. I mean, they were a
yeah,
playing team until they traded their guys.
they were totally a better team. Yeah.
But like, dude, Barnes is gonna be good. Quickly is gonna be good. They're another
Mhm.
year in. They'll win
Yeah,
more than 30 games. They won't
yeah.
win much more,
Okay.
in
I
my.
feel like that's the strongest that we both feel about a team so far.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Celtics over. I feel stronger about that.
definitely playing. Oh, okay. All right. I like that.
Yeah, because
Um,
they do own their own pick. So if Barnes gets hurt for even a month, they're tanking it.
that is the one question. Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. Let's move to the Central Division. Get a little centered up. Or anything else on the Raptors before we move on?
No, I think I'm good.
This has the makings of a season where we both kind of like it. The Raptors, maybe. We'll see.
Honestly, I would have
Be a
thought.
fun team to root for. Great league pass team.
Great lead passing. They're gonna play no defense. It'd be awesome.
Let's go. Okay, next up, Chicago Bulls, who also have a 30.5 win total. Huh. More of a
This is
conversation.
this is interesting. I mean,
Yeah. Oof.
this
Okay.
is a team that
Josh.
another team that hasn't been that bad.
Yeah. Not bad enough.
Yeah. Um, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Vucevic, Giddy,
Yeah.
Javon
Ao
Carter.
just Ao
I
DeSunmo,
It's like is
Patrick
that
Williams, Lonzo Ball looks
Matas?
good.
Dude, Lonzo does look good. Shout out to
Yeah.
him. Played his first game tonight. We do need
Yeah.
to give a big shout. Can we pause really quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Seeing Lonzo back and
Oh.
playing well is one of the most heartwarming stories like that I've seen.
Mhm.
Lonzo has always been a really good player, and then people like gave up on him. Like in theory, people give up on players for certain reasons, and
Yeah.
it's been due to circumstances being given up on. Like he got given up on
Yeah.
LA because they had AD coming in, and the Pelicans they didn't know their future. They're trying to get CJ in. They let him walk because they're figuring this stuff out. He goes to Chicago, is worth the money, and just happens to have a crazy injury, right?
Yeah.
And is amazing as the Caruso. Oh.
Oh my Lord.
Caruso Lonzo Ball highlights YouTube search now.
Crazy
Go. Come
backcourt.
back later. Um, extremely fun. Drew and Derek White before Drew and Derek White.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
So
So true.
seeing Lonzo back, it's sad that's not with honestly feels kind of weird to not see him with Caruso on the court,
Yeah.
but it's been amazing, and I hope he. I mean, bro, when he was playing really well, he was arguably the second best player on the Bulls, right? Like, but pre DeRozan.
Yeah.
So
I agree, man. Okay. I mean, you might have just talked me into an over.
I think I just talked myself into an over, but I feel like we're going over too much. But I mean, I'm taking the over too. I don't know.
I think I'll have some fat unders though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, shout out Lonzo Ball, man. Tonight, 10 points, 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3-point range. I didn't actually watch any of it, but
He's
apparently he was hustling on the court.
Yeah, watch the highlights. He's active. It's not Lonzo Ball of old. It's still Lonzo Ball. So, and I didn't know if we'd ever see Lonzo Ball on a basketball court again. So,
I mean, how old is he? He can't be that old.
I mean, have if you want to have some fun though, look at his basketball reference. Um,
He's
it's like
26.
when you go look at old players. If you go look at Nate Archibald, this is a really good example. If you go look at Nate Archibald's basketball reference, he has like 2 years missed, and it's like knee injury out. It's
Yeah.
like 2 whole years. Like people
Yeah.
back then would like tweak a meniscus throughout 3 years. Lonzo Ball has this exact did not play injury dash knee. It's like 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's like It's like you don't see that much in 2022s, 2023s.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
understand. I'll take the over though. I like that. I'm with it. I'm with it.
All right. Damn. Let's go. Like the Bulls. Um, okay. A familiar foe for you. The Cleveland Cavaliers are up next. I haven't been a foe in like more than half a decade, but their over under total is 47 and a half wins. Spicy. 48 wins last season, Max. What are we thinking about the Cleveland Cavaliers? Mm,
I don't know, bro. I'm kind of thinking the under here. I don't think they got that much better. I don't like they obviously had injuries last year. We do need to remember that. And they got a nightmare season from Garland. I think like the top end of the East got better is just as good as they were. I think Cleveland this is the thing, barring some sort of like and I really like Mobley and I used to really, really like him. But barring Mobley going back to being generational prospect adjacent, which is what I thought he was, it's gonna be pretty tough for me to get behind them.
mm. I feel you. This this feels like a team of inertia. Donovan Mitchell is unbelievable. He is easily a top 15 player in the NBA and would have given the Celtics more fits. They got a game off of us in the playoffs if he hadn't been hurt. So it's tough to bet against him. But that being said, I kind of feel your vibe. If Evan Mobley can't really take a step this year, you kind of know who Jared Allen is. Maybe Darius Garland returns back to form a couple of years ago. But other than that, do you really like the depth on this team? I mean, Karis LeVert, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, Niang. It's tough to be moved by this team. They don't have a lot of good depth. They're just kind of pretty good. And pretty good gets you around 44 wins in the East. I'm with you. I'm going to go with the under.
Yeah, I don't think they've gotten much better. They were a 51 team 2 years ago, 48 team win team last year. With the ascension
Yeah.
of teams like the Pacers, the Magic, the Heat are not going to have as bad of a season as they did last year, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under. You know, they could totally be an over team. They could sneak into 49 wins, 50 wins. I don't think either of us see them as losing more than 48, or I don't see any of us seeing them as winning less than 48 games or
Right.
winning more than 50. You know, I really think they're pretty solidly in this 45 to 50 win margin. They're gonna be a top six seed. And I'd be pretty shocked if they ended out anywhere outside of that. I'm just gonna take
Right.
the under because I think it's like safer.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Um, yeah, will not be a league pass team, unfortunately, unless Donovan's on a heater. Let's see. Next up in the East, we have the other most recent Eastern Conference finalist appearance. So one of the reasons why we can't attribute too much to an Eastern Conference Finals or a deep playoff run appearance is because of a team like this Indiana Pacers. Shout out to this team. Great team. Lost your best player in the Eastern Conference Finals. A bunch of guys stepped up. Unbelievable offense that we haven't seen in quite some time. Shot like 78% from the field against the Knicks, either in the first half or the whole game in game seven. Just blitz them. Whew. Okay, let's see. They have 46 and a half is their over under.
A really good number.
That is a good number.
It's a good line. I could see
That's a
them falling
tough.
either. Could see them
Yeah.
falling either side. I kind of think
Yeah.
this is another Cleveland adjacent team. Um, this will be a better playoff team this year, obviously, than they were last year, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean everything. Matherin's coming back from injury. Obviously Halliburton will be back, etc.
47 wins, bro. Last year.
It's so tough. It's so tough. I'll take the over. I'll take the over. I think
All
they'll be
right.
better than I think they'll be better than Cleveland, which is I just think they have more guy. Like if we're talking about depth, like I can go to the eighth, ninth guy on this Pacers team, and it's Jarris Walker. I get to the ninth guy on Cleveland, and I'm talking about
Yeah.
Dean Wade. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, hmm. Yeah, the depth is good for sure. This would be a really fun. No, I mean, this would never be a first round matchup in the East. Probably not. Maybe. Probably not. Um,
4 or 5. That'd be fun.
maybe. It's a chance.
We get slammed round two, no matter what.
Exactly. I mean, I love the makeup of this team, and I think that, you get a puncher's chance every once in a while, and they had their puncher's chance. So I'm gonna go under. Just because, to your point, the East is so deep and top heavy. Looking at this, between from New York all the way down to Philly last year, 50, 49, 48, 47, 47, 47, and then the Heat 46 wins. That's like, yeah.
Is
Why is
this
that
the
going to
new?
be
Is
different?
this the new Kings?
The Pacers?
Are the Pacers the Eastern Conference Kings in terms of like 2 years ago? Oh, this is a fun young team. Oh, and then you think, what's really their ceiling? And then 2 years later, you look around, and you're like, what do we even got? Like
Yeah.
I'm not that wasn't to absolutely bash the Kings, by the way, but 2 years ago, if you saw the Kings on the rise, you were hoping for a little bit better outcomes than what we've seen.
And then they traded their player to the exact team that we're talking about.
Yeah, funny enough. But
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like the Kings had Fox and they were excited about him, so they traded Halliburton for Sabonis, and like the Pacers were excited about Halliburton, so they traded all their stuff for Siakam. And I actually think the Siakam trade, if we look back at it, the stuff that they gave up for Siakam, not that bad, but for just making equivalencies there.
Yeah. And he resigned.
Yeah,
So,
I need to resign.
yeah. I mean, we know what their ceiling is, and they reached it.
Yeah.
They, yeah, they have achieved the pinnacle of what this iteration of the Indiana Pacers will do in their franchise.
Unless there's an ascension from a wing player here, but they have too many wings. Like this is like a logical fallacy where they have a lot of wings because they're waiting for a wing to ascend, whether it's Ben Shepherd, Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin, right?
Right.
But if you have three wings who all want 32 minutes a game, what wings you got? Especially when the rest of your team is still filled with, TJ McConnell, who's gonna want minutes, Jarris Walker, as I
Yeah.
mentioned before, wants minutes, Aaron Nesmith,
Right.
so it's like that's kind of my worry here with the Pacers. I think their top end ceiling is really capped off by the lack of a really scoring wing. Respect to Siakam, but him and Turner are like a front court duo at this point. So that's kind of my worry with them, basically.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. The Hawks, when they were the first seed and they played against the Cavs, they got swept. All those games were close. They got swept. If you get swept, just not as good of a team. So I don't know. All right. So you got the over though for the
Yeah,
regular
I do.
season
I
at
do
least?
still have the over, but
Yeah.
I know you got the
Yeah.
under.
Yeah, I do indeed.
But
Um, Okay, last wrapping up of the Central Division is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Ooh.
Last year, 49 wins, and this season projected 51 and a half, right below the Knicks and the Sixers.
Hey, I'll let you know right now. I'm slamming the under. I'm slamming the under on this Milwaukee Bucks team. I have no evidence that they are going to win 50 games. Like the Knicks won 50 games, got better. The like Sixers won 47 wins.
Yeah.
Embiid didn't barely played, they got better.
Mhm.
The Bucks last year were 15 games over 500, fired their coach, went under 500 the rest of the way, embarrassed in the postseason. Giannis injury, so be it. Embarrassed in the postseason. And now I'm supposed to look at the roster and say they added Gary Trent and now they're going to win 50 games? Was Were they good? Were they that good? They fired their coach 15 games over 500 because they were already not like they were a plastic first seed. They were a plastic first seed. Everyone saw it. They fired their coach and it went even further south. But now I'm supposed to believe they're going to win 51 games. I don't know. They're Chris Middleton injury away and a Dame injury away from trading Giannis. And that won't happen this year. But I'm way closer to the Bucks winning 44 wins than 54.
Um, I think they could still hit 50,
They could, absolutely.
but I'm with you on the under. I'm probably not as strong of a slam. I'm with you on the Chris Middleton concerns. Dame's getting older. Brook Lopez is old. The team is old.
Old, ancient, ancient.
And I mean, and yeah, Drew Holiday is old too, but I don't know. He's just their youngest player that's great is Giannis, who's 30, right? He's 30 now.
Dame is 34.
Dame's 34. Head into his 35-year-old season, right? He turns 35 this year.
Yeah, Dame just
So
shot 42% from the field. Like,
I think he'll be better this year. I do. I don't know if he's gonna be. I think just like new situation. I think statistically he could be better. He was so good in Portland, especially at the end, even though nobody else was that good. So if Giannis can command some attention, Giannis still is a top four player. And for that reason, you got kind of have to elevate the team. But yeah, the history has not been supportive of this team getting it. And so even I'm not going to necessarily assess what I think they're going to do in the postseason at this moment, but I know for sure, with all that in mind, the Bucks aren't going to rush this team. Like they need help on their side. So they're going to rest their players even if they're healthy. So I'm with you. I think it's going to be less than 51 and a half. Speak,
Southeast.
yes, sir. Southeast. So Bucks on perhaps the dissension. Speaking of a team that they never really feel like they're in ascension or dissension for more than a couple of years. A team also reminiscent of the success of the 2024 Indiana Pacers in the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals run. We know them as the Atlanta Hawks. So the Atlanta Hawks last year finished with a record of 39 and 43. They have been demoted, perhaps based on the DeJounte Murray trade, to 35 and a half as their over under. Max, how are you feeling?
I think this is a really good line. I think there's gonna be a lot of people who hit the under here and lose their money. I am also
Yep.
gonna hit the under. So just to be clear, I'm gonna hit the under here. And I'm probably gonna lose my money. This team is not that bad. This team is not that bad. Like last year won 36 games, you know,
39.
or 39, damn.
Wait.
Or
Sorry, you're correct. 36. Yeah.
yeah, 36, not that bad.
Yeah.
Playing team,
Yeah.
they just happened to win the lottery. Jalen Johnson got better. I think DeJounte leaving. I'm a big DeJounte Murray fan. I'm a fan of his game. Didn't like the fit in Atlanta. Don't think that's super arguable.
Yeah.
But when Trae Young was out, DeJounte was extremely good. undebatably.
Yep.
So I think this is a good team. I think a lot of people lose their money slamming the under on the Hawks. I'm still gonna slam the under, or no, I'm not gonna slam it. I'm gonna hit the under. But
Yep.
this could be a 39 win team again. Totally.
Yeah. I'm with you. Trae Young, Bogdan played great for France. They got their boy in Zach. Jalen Johnson's going to be good next year. Clint Capella, Onyeka Okongwu, Larry Nance, DeAndre Hunter, Dyson Daniels, Kobe Buffkin.
They almost have too many bodies. Like Buffkin should be playing a lot of
Yeah.
minutes, you know. Like
And if Buffkin is playing a lot of minutes for that reason, I will also hit the under.
yeah, you know, that's the thing. Like at some point you just drafted Risa Shea first overall. You
Right.
know, you're gonna need a like I don't think Risa Shea is as bad as everyone thinks he is. Like, don't get me wrong. I think he's probably a top five player who was drafted this year.
Mm,
But you know, this draft was pretty poor. And is Risa
yeah.
Shea a plus player right now? No.
I mean, unless you're amazing as a rookie, you're not really going to be a huge contributor to the success of a team that does not have a top 10 player on it. Like Derek Lively last year. He was a great rookie because he worked so well with Luca. Like, but if you're not with the top 10 player, probably not going to be as impactful. You need time to develop. And yeah, that's just not, like what do you do with Trae Young with this situation? So
And
Jalen Johnson.
I think that's one of the reasons they did draft Risa Shea. I think you can swing for the fences with a SAR pick when you're like Atlanta if you want to, but is making SAR be the second best player on a championship team even conducive for him to reach his potential? Like or second best player
Right.
on the team in general, even
Right.
conducive for him to reaching his full potential? Like probably not. Risa Shea can. I mean, Risa Shea shot 40% over the last like 3 years total in Europe, right? From three. I think they saw things like that. They're like he's more NBA ready. I don't know
Mhm.
if that's true, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, I don't know. I you did say something fun about Derek Lively. I don't know if I brought this up on the pod, by the way. I was out at Cameron Indoor month or so ago.
Yeah,
Did I bring this up on the pod before?
maybe.
I can't remember.
Depends.
When I was at Cameron Indoor a month and a half ago, I saw Derek Lively and I was like, "What's up, Derek? Derek, like big fan of your game. Like best of luck on the season." Gave
You
him
did.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
can't remember if I said this on the pod. I said this to you. I immediately opened my phone. I texted you. I was like, "Bro, this just happened."
Yes. Yes.
But I can't remember if I said this on the pod. And honestly, Derek Lively couldn't have seemed like a sweeter guy. Not very, very nice guy. I think Theo Pinson was there with him too. I also didn't want to hit Theo Pinson with the podcaster cheese. So I didn't want to hit him with the yo Theo and be wrong. So but Lively seemed like a great guy. He was at Cameron Indoor. Cooper Flag and the squad were practicing at the practice court. Pretty cool stuff. Derek Lively seemed like a great guy. So just want to give him a shout out. Seems like a really dope dude. But yeah, I agree. Like, you know, Derek Lively as a rookie comes in, he's good because he got drafted to play next to Luca. He was not, and we'll talk about Lively because I think his peak is actually a lot higher than what I thought it could be.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. But, you know, you drafted him to play next to Luca. You drafted Risa
Right.
Shea to play next to Trae Young.
Uh, yeah.
I think that stuff can work, but your peak of contributing to winning cannot be that high unless you're playing with Luca. You know, like
Right. Right. Exactly. 100%.
yeah.
And that's a good reflection on Derek Lively, but that's a reflection on Luca.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, very fair. So we both got
so
the under on
all
Atlanta.
right.
Maybe too much Atlanta talk. Tana talk.
Yeah. We'll see if we talk about them more. Um, the next team up that we have is the Charlotte Hornets, who finished with 21 wins last season. Yikes. This year, though, 27 and a half is their line. Okay. All right. I'm gonna just start.
Yeah, you stars.
I think this is entirely dependent on the health of, LaMelo Ball.
We agree.
Does not matter how much Brandon Miller progresses.
We agree.
Not really moved by Josh Green. Trey Mann is a fun piece. We'll see if that works out. You have Cody Martin, who is a body. Do kind of like Tijane Salon. I've seen a couple of
Yes.
little things about him. So he could be fun. Miles Bridges, Mark Williams, Nick Richards. that's not a good enough team. But with LaMelo Ball fully healthy, averaging 25, 7 and 6, that could be a fun team. And so for that reason, I will give an over.
Yeah, I'm gonna get behind this too. I'm gonna take the over. If LaMelo plays 50 games, they're a playing team. So in this East. So yeah, I'm gonna take the over. Think they're pretty good. Mark Williams, Nick Richards, pretty mid, but pretty good front court. Like Miles Bridges, Grant Williams, Josh Green, wing trio. Pretty mid, but it's like pretty good.
Yeah,
Brandon Miller, Trey Mann, Meeches, LaMelo Ball backcourt. It's like pretty mid. It's pretty good. It's probably a better team than the Atlanta Hawks. But Trey Young plays more basketball games than LaMelo Ball. So that's a little tough. Let's roll the dice. I'll take the over with you.
all right. Maybe we'll talk more about the Hornets this year.
Let me let me just I will say one thing, Brandon Miller, he has the opportunity to be extremely good. I don't want to poo-poo his development. Like, we both just poo-pooed his development saying like no
Yeah,
matter how good as he is, this team goes as far as LaMelo Ball is. And while I do agree with that, LaMelo Ball's Brandon Miller, sorry's long-term ceiling in my eyes is pretty damn high. So shout out to
sure.
him. Shout out to him and the Charlotte team should not be very bad for very much longer.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it is likely that with dang, it's crazy when you lose your train of thought. Let me check out this Charlotte Hornets depth. Oh yeah, Brandon Miller. That's what we were talking about. My bad. I started thinking about Brandon Miller comps. Um, yeah, it's not that he's not going to be good. It's just that he's not going to be that good right now. It's up. You're not Wemby. That's okay. You're not going to like be a
Yeah, I don't.
team that. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't need you to contribute to winning like that yet. I don't think he's. Yeah, he's trying to shoot 40% from three and take as many as he can.
and he was good last year. I mean, he was good towards the end of the regular season, especially averaging 20 points per game in April, and 20 points per game as well in February. So definitely heated up as the season went along. Wow, 20 points per game in February. And
Pretty clearly the third best rookie last year behind Chet and Wemby. Or
yeah,
not even pretty, very clearly. Like it's like Chet Wemby gap, Brandon Miller gap, Jaime Pods Lively.
right. 3, 4. I mean, at least 4, maybe 5 games with 30 points per game last year. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
He's good.
he's really good. He's really good. Big shot. He also he's got a defensive ceiling. That's up there. So that's
Oh,
a shout out to him. But we'll take the over. I think it's a 50-50 shot if it's under or over. If you're a betting person on these odds, save your money on the Charlotte Hornets over under. Like call the number. I don't know.
yeah. Call the
If you're
number.
betting if you're betting the Charlotte's over under and it's 27 like this, you're just rolling the dice on the LaMelo Ball injury. So just call the number. Call the number in advance before you lose the house.
Yeah, say so. Rent stew. Come on. Toronto Raptors, maybe put the phone down. Don't call the number for the Raptors, but call the number for the
No,
Hornets.
yeah. For the Raptors, I mean, yeah. No, call your financial advisor because you're making some
Oh,
stack.
yes, sir. Spittin' hoops, spitting financials. Uh,
Been
all right.
miles.
This is what happens when you talk about the Hornets too much.
Yeah, seriously.
Just the brain devolves.
Now we're getting some fun teams though.
We are. Next up we have, well, you know what? I'm gonna skip ahead and then circle back to more fun teams as we get this out of the way. The Wizards.
I knew it.
Yeah. The Washington Wizards projected to win 21 games next year after having won. Wait, we didn't cover Detroit either. Oops, I gotta get to Detroit.
Oh, damn. I did forget about Detroit.
Oops, my bad for Detroit. Sorry, Detroit.
Eh.
But yeah, is my take on this 22 and a half wins. So let's talk about their starting lineup in their backcourt. Jordan Poole, your boy, Bilal Coulibaly, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Sarr, Jonas Valanciunas, Rashawn Holmes, Corey Kispert, Malcolm Brogdon, who is out. Yikes.
Dude, this team is such a okay, hear me out. It is such a dichotomy of players that I really like and players that I am out on completely. I like Kuzma. as a top three player on any basketball team in the NBA, I'm out. I'm out. If he's your fifth best guy, if he's your sixth best guy, so be it. He is the best
Yeah.
player on this Wizards team, point blank. So already that not looking good. Uh, Jordan Poole, love him for what he did with the Warriors. Amazing. Uh, Guards who can refine themselves after a 40-30 shooting split season are few and far between. You know, 40% from the field, 30% from three. That's a career killing season that Jordan Poole just had, frankly. Um, so those are the two best players, and I'm out on both of them. Meanwhile, Bilal Coulibaly just grew an inch and a half and is getting rave reviews during training camp. The issue is Bilal Coulibaly's ceiling as a 3-and-D player. Is an extremely good 3-and-D player, but it's a 3-and-D player. Alex Sarr, I'm actually more in on Alex Sarr than most people just because I think his defense is pretty good. It's really good, actually. Offensively, he's not good. And so it's a lot of players that are like I'm in on Alex Sarr in general. I'm in on Valanciunas for a team like this. I'm in on Bilal Coulibaly. I'm even in on Corey Kispert and Bub Carrington. Those are not any of the two best players on this team. I'm out on their two best players. So under this is coming from a former Wizards season ticket holder, and I'll be there on opening night if anyone wants to come see me, probably. Uh, but it's an under. It's an under for me, dog.
Couldn't have said it any better. Um, yeah, I don't really have too many other takes to add. Valanciunas is old. He puts up good stats. They're pretty empty stats, unfortunately, at
And,
this point.
and if he's that good at any point, he gets traded.
He gets traded. Yes, this is a development team, and Lord, yeah, I'm with you. Under. I don't have too much analysis. You
Yeah.
said it well.
I think that this is the worst team in the NBA. When we were talking about teams earlier, I think this is the worst team.
Well, let's move quickly before those two fun teams to the other maybe worst team in the NBA, the Detroit Pistons. Um, we have Cade Cunningham, who, we got to see how he does. Jaden Ivey has looked solid in preseason. Asar Thompson comes back after a relatively strong rookie season, especially first strong start and end to it. Tobias Harris is your power forward with Jalen Duren as a center, who's pretty solid. Isaiah Stewart as well. And then you have Fontecchio, Hardaway Jr. as well, Malik Beasley, a couple of, in my mind, past their prime shooters, and then Marcus Sasser. So the over-under for the win total here is 22 and a half. Surprisingly, them and the Wizards are both a game higher than the Nets. And yeah, man, what do we think?
I got the over. I don't think they can be this bad. Cade, Tobias, Tim Hardaway Jr. Those three players are better than the Wizards. And I'm not even talking about their like. I don't think Ron Holland's gonna be that good as a rookie. I like Alsar. I don't think they're gonna. Frankly, like it's my bigger issue is with the Pistons and the Pistons drafting and usage of the young players. I think Alsar and Ron Holland pairing the same player and rolling the dice on both of them. It's like kind of weird. Obviously not the exact same player, but non-shooting wings, non-shooting, energetic, defensive, athletic wings. You drafted
Yeah,
two of them. What are
yeah,
you? What are we doing? But just if Cade and Tobias Harris, that team is better than the Wizards.
yeah.
So that I'm
I
gonna take
think
the
that's fair.
over 22.5. They're gonna win like 25. They're gonna win like 27 games. But yeah, and I think if you're the Pistons, the clock is starting now with Cade. Like this is starting to get ridiculous. And Cade just got ranked 67th by ESPN, which crazy. Like I think Cade is a top 50 player in the NBA. And
Yeah,
Cade
for
is gonna
sure.
want to prove it. And most of the general NBA public doesn't know that Cade is a top 50 NBA player. And
Yeah.
that's insane.
You drafted him, right? In our fantasy hoops with Jason? I believe you did.
Last year, we didn't have the draft yet, did we?
No, 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 no. In our on our pod. Didn't you draft him?
Oh, I did
Top
draft him.
30?
Remember, I drafted him in my last draft pick. I did draft him
That's
in the
right.
top
Yeah.
30 of fantasy
Yeah.
players this year.
So, yeah. I think you talked me into the over. I was under at first. I think you talked me into the over, especially with him, who's far and away the best player of any of these bottom three teams that we're discussing in the
Even
Nets
if we
and the
count
Wizards.
Portland, even if we count Portland in there.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. And Jalen Duren is quite good. So, yeah. And to your point, Tobias Harris is He's a veteran player. So
And like
eh,
we can bash Tobias Harris, but he's gonna like yeah, he's he's better than like Kyle Kuzma probably right now somehow.
like right,
That might be a stretch, but like,
that might be a stretch. But
that might
Cade
be.
Cunningham is for sure.
Yeah. He's better than Jordan Poole for sure. Tobias Harris.
Yeah,
Like, we're
yeah,
talking these are different echelon of players. We're talking about guys who get roasted because they can't be the third best player on a championship team versus Jordan Poole. Um,
which is crazy. Yeah, Jordan Poole's fall off, man. What a crazy situation.
I was sorry. I was looking at his playoff stats. I was
Yeah,
looking at like his playoff run with the Warriors is like if you just look at those isolated stats, the playoff run, the year we beat you guys in the
yep.
finals. Sorry.
I know the year. Yep.
Um, uh, his stats, it's like kind of ridiculous. Like 18 a game, like 46% from the field, 38% from three. And if you take that playoff stat line plus percentages, where stat lines and percentages usually go down in the playoffs, if you take that and export it over a full season, he is the player, the max player that they gave the contract to. And instead, he is a negative minus player.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
He was good the season afterwards too on the Warriors.
Yeah.
He was solid. He put up 20 points per game.
But it's
Good
the
player.
playoff run. It was that play. If you go look at that playoff run
Yeah.
that season, he
Oh,
shot 33% from the field and 25% from three, played like 17 minutes, got benched. And so that's the killer. And I think that,
mhm.
there's a lot to dig in there, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was great against the Celtics. Good Lord.
the half court
Good.
shot. Oh, they're
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
My
all the
bad.
memes.
I'm like reminiscing. That's all I got right now. That's
That's
all I
good.
got.
Scars take a while to heal. Well, next up, speaking of scars, let's talk about another team that I love, the Miami Heat. Miami Heat finished last year with the 8 seed, 46 wins. This year, Vegas actually is slightly lower on them, 44 and a half. Max, I'll hop in here real quick. I just consider the Miami Heat to be who's the guy in those horror movies where you keep thinking that he's dead, but he keeps coming back to life.
The boogeyman.
The Boogeyman. I'm
Uh,
not thinking of the Boogeyman, but they are like the Boogeyman.
you like
But
Kendrick?
that,
My bad.
yeah, dude, just as long as I'm not Drake in this scenario, I'm more than happy to be. But Terry Rozier, Scary Terry. Yeah, Freaky Friday. No, it's not Freaky Friday. Whichever
Jason?
one. Jason, thank you, Jason.
Okay, okay.
Keeps coming back.
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday, not Freaky Friday.
Isn't that a Little Dicky song?
It is a great Little Nicky song. Fantastic song. Little Nicky's good, man. We should have him on the pod at some point. But anyways, oh, he's a hoop because he likes ball too.
He does. He does.
Who is he a fan of?
Philadelphia, I think.
Ugh, never mind. We have our Noah Haynes for that. Anyways, sidetrack. We got point guard Terry Rozier. Love Terry Rozier. Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Jovic, apparently according to ESPN.
Yeah.
And then Bam, who I think is poised for a fantastic season. I think he's entering right in the middle of his prime. He looks good. He's shooting more threes. He could also easily be the defensive player of the year this year.
Good take.
And then of course you have Hawkins Jr., who's going to take a huge step. Duncan Robinson, Josh Richardson, Alec Burks, who's another good scorer. So yeah, you got a squad. I'm gonna say over 44 and a half.
No, I'm slamming the over. Bet on this. Bet on this.
Yeah.
Like the last season was the nightmare Heat season,
Yeah.
and they won 46 games. If Jimmy Butler in a contract season, if of all the things we know about Jimmy Butler, when his back's on the line and he's got to play for some money, he's gonna lock in. Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not. This team's going over 44. I'm not worried. This team feels so much like, I'm seeing Alec Burks at the backup point guard spot, and he's like never gonna take the ball up. And
Yeah.
this feels like a quintessential like Spoelstra is gonna be running the one like the thing where he has Bam down low with the two guards on the wings, with two wings playing up top on the zone. And he's going to be able to do that with a combo of like Rozier and Hero on the wings, like being the zone guys. And he's going to throw Butler and Jaime Jaquez just chasing people down all this game. And that's going to be scary. Like, especially with Jaime in year two, and considering year one, he barely played with Jimmy at times. I'm I'm pretty in. I'm pretty in. I'm also I'm pretty in on this team in general. This is year two of them having Rozier. Yeah, I'm pretty far in on this team. This is their last hurrah. This year is probably their last hurrah with the Jimmy Butler iteration. But yeah,
I'm with you, man. I mean, I'm as with you as I am in that they won't lose fewer than 45 games. So I think they have a great floor. Always history injury concerns with Jimmy, but
always.
other than that, I think they look pretty good. They look pretty talented. I mean, I never want to see them in the playoffs. I don't think we probably will because based on this, no, they might be the 8 seed. We'll get to that another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have the over. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think that's yeah, I mean they could
It's
play you
fair.
guys though. Because what
Yeah,
we
they
got the
could.
Pacers. Let's say they do they're under the Pacers above Cleveland. They could be the six. Yeah, you're probably right. You guys are probably dodging them.
But they could be yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll get into standings another time, but last but not least,
This might be
a
one of the
new
more fun ones.
yeah, last but not least, a new beast in the East. How about that? I like this team a lot. I am really frustrated that I did not actually bet on them last year because their over under was 38 and a half. Same with the Pacers, by the way. Um, a very interesting linear progressional team with the Pacers, where they both have their young stars. So, but unlike the Pacers, who have a legendary offense, this team throws bricks but plays amazing defense. We'll see if it can step up. The Orlando Magic finished last year with 47 wins, and surprise, surprise, Vegas is going to hold a tough one over us. 47 and a half is their over under this year.
I'm taking the
What
over.
are we thinking?
I'm taking the
Yeah,
over. I'm
I'm
in.
with you.
I'm with this team. I could see them being the second seed in the East.
I'm with you.
I'm in on them as regular season concept. Playoffs, I think they could get first rounded again. But I'm all in. They got so much better. Their spacing is so much better. Fultz is gone. No flame to Fultz, the spacing killer. Instead, they bring in KCP, who's been
Yeah.
spacing the floor for NBA champs for the last 5 years of his career. Um, yeah, I'm really in on this team. Anthony Black's a year older. Cole Anthony is gonna continue coming off the bench, and now that they're a good team, he's not going to be complaining about it. Um, yeah, I'm pretty in. I'm pretty in. I'm pretty in on this team being a 50-win team. Pretty in on this team being a top 4 to 5 seed. I'm in. I think Paolo is so good. I really think Paolo, like that's where my thing is with Paolo. He's the type of player who carries you through regular seasons.
Mhm.
Whether however good you might think he is as a playoff performer, like I think he's the type of player. He's gonna drop 25 a game this year for the whole regular season. He's gonna score 47% from the field, and he'll be really good. And that's the Tatum type wing that just drives you to 48 to 52 wins every year.
In the postseason last year for his 7 game series,
27 a game,
yeah, 27, 9, and 4.
40% from three on six threes a game. Are you kidding?
That's
In the
crazy.
playoffs? And
Playoffs?
This was Franz shitting the bed, and they're half starting Markel Fultz still.
So you got to believe he's going to shoot better. And I like that. Dude, their depth is good.
I'm
Gary
in.
Harris is good. He didn't play well in the playoffs, but Gary Harris is really good. Jonathan Isaac's good. Mo Wagner's good. A lot of running with Germany. They just signed Wendell Carter Jr. to a new contract.
Gary Harris, your 13th best player, bro. Shut up.
Like
I
that's
like I'm
solid.
exaggerating.
But yes, you know, second, third rotation. Yeah, I like them.
They
Yeah,
re-signed Goga. Yeah, I don't know. I'm if Franz
yeah.
also can't be like I am. I went into last season. I think I might have given this take on this pod. Someone can go back and actually don't do this. I might have had a take where I was like Franz's potential peak is higher than Paolo's potential peak.
You did say that.
Yo, that's on me. That's on me, y'all. Like that was badass. That was a terrible take. The thing is, like, if Franz could shoot 40% from three, context last year, 2 years ago, he shot 36% from three. And so I was like, last year, if he gets to 40%, this is a dangerous 25 point per game scorer. Last year, instead of scoring 40% from three, he went down to 28% from three. Um, which is aggressively an under league average shooter. In the playoffs, he shot 26% from three as well. So that is worrisome, but he can't be that bad, right? Like it's both worrisome and like he's got to shoot at least 31% from three this year, right? So this Magic team's got to be better. That's my take.
On that note, no, I'm with you. Career-wise, Franz Wagner, over under 1.5 All-Star appearances.
Oh, for the rest of his career?
Uh-huh.
That's a great take. 1.5. I'll take the under.
So one.
Yeah, I think he sneaks one.
Yeah.
He's not, the thing is he'll have to make an all-star team as the second best player. Yeah, I don't think he's a mold of a guy I don't think he can go drop 26 a game on a medium team,
Sure.
even at his peak.
I'm with you.
But this is a potential B option on a championship team, though. I
Yes.
really am still a believer in that sense of Franz. He shot 46% from the free throw line last year, and then he shot 28% from three. Or not 46, 86. Sorry. No.
Oh.
He shot 86, my bad. 86% from the free throw line, but then shot 28% from three. That, how like there's a reverse regression of like, good free throw shooters shoot well from three. That is something that happens. That's one of the biggest indicators coming out of college of whether you'll develop a three-point shot over time. Franz has almost gone reverse, and I almost feel like there has to be a correction of the mean. Like I'd rather bet on the correction of the mean than bet on Franz continuing going this way.
No, I'm with you. I'm actually looking up. Sorry, your 46% threw me, bro. Bruce Bowen in the 2003 season, you know this, where he
Yes.
shot 44% from 3-point range and only 40% from the free throw line. And he was a great player, man, but that's crazy.
Did he have the yips? Was there a thing about that? I might have read something.
It's gotta be the yips. I'm curious. I'll explore more of that later.
Yeah, that might be a fun deep dive for our next feature two interesting games section.
I'm with you.
But yeah, so okay. I took the over. Did you take the over on that one too?
Yes, I did. Indeed.
All right. Well, with that, let me give us a summary really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, Anthony, you had Boston over, New York Knicks over, Toronto over, but you had Brooklyn under, Philadelphia under, you had Chicago over, Cleveland under, Indiana under, Milwaukee under, Atlanta under, but then you had Charlotte over, Washington under, Orlando over, Miami over, Detroit over.
Yeah.
Did that sound right?
Yep.
Me, on the other hand, I had Knicks under, I had Philadelphia under, Cleveland under, Milwaukee under, Atlanta under, Washington under, and I had the rest over. So that's Boston, Toronto, Brooklyn, Chicago, Indianapolis, Charlotte, Orlando, Miami, Detroit. The ones we disagreed on, Indiana. I had them going over, you had them going under. I had Brooklyn going over, you had Philly, or you had Brooklyn going over. I had Brooklyn going over, you had Brooklyn going under.
Yeah.
Sorry. I had New York going under, you had New York going over. So those are the only three we disagreed on. So we're kind of lame, bro. We only disagreed on three.
Gives us more to disagree with in the West next time.
Honestly, there'll probably be more disagreements in the West.
Yeah, there probably will be.
Yeah. But with that, I think that kind of rounds out this podcast. By the way, guys, NBA season right around the corner, 22nd, lock in. We're gonna really be ramping it up probably this year from as we have been. I feel like you guys have kind of seen our output over the last 2 months. We've definitely been making more of an effort to give the people what they want, as Jalen and Jacoby would said. Shout out if you know that reference. But yeah, we're here, we're grinding. NBA season starts the 22nd. We probably won't have any more season previews or team individual previews. We're gonna have this East preview. We'll have a West preview out to y'all ASAP. And yeah, Anthony, you got anything else to talk about?
Man, Tuesday, October 22nd. Let's absolutely get it.
I cannot wait.
I
am hyped.
But no, I think I'm with you. I think we'll have these over and under win totals out before that date, hopefully. And yeah. Max, you got anything else?
I think that's it. Go Warriors, 5-0 preseason champs, baby. You don't play with Steve Kerr, and don't go check my previous statements about Steve Kerr in the last year.
Yeah, no, do not check those out. They are not the same as what they might be this year. We'll find out. But we'll talk more about it when we see y'all in the future on an all new episode of our 60th coming up.
Our 60th.
60th episode of Spittin Hoops. We'll see y'all soon. Holler at us.
Bye.